Hey, this is Meredith Elliott Powell, and welcome to another edition of Sales Logic, the show where we go live every Saturday morning to talk about the issues, the challenges, the strategies you need to sell effectively and more successfully in today's economy. And I am here with my co-host, Mark Hunter. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning. It's always great to start off a Saturday talking about sales with you. We got a great topic today. Great topic.
We do have a great topic today, and Mark's going to tell you about that in a moment. I'll give you an overview of how the show works. We break this show into 4 segments. Every week we have just a terrific topic, and today I think is probably one of the most important topics we have talked about in a while. But we start every show off with a question from you, our viewers. So if you have a question, anything that you would like to be answered about sales, make sure to just go to our website, saleslogicpodcast.com, or just put it out there on social media with hashtag SalesLogic, and we will find it. We cover a book that goes with the topic. And again, we've got a good one this week. And we finish off with a lightning round. Strategy steps, things that you can put in immediately to get return on investment from spending your time with us. So Mark, what is on tap for today?
Well, I think what you just set up was 22 minutes of perfection this morning. Yeah. Anyway. Hey, the topic this morning is how important is trust to closing a sale? Trust. Ooh, what is it? What does it mean? That's the topic we're going to dive into. And of course, the lightning round is going to deal with trust. We've got a book. But here's the question. Brad in Ohio. And I'll tell you what, Brad in Ohio, you're going to think about this and yeah, you're going to find a way to relate to it. He says, I sell heavy construction equipment to people and companies that are anything but trustworthy. Does it even make sense for me to be trustworthy? Okay, come on. We've all been in that situation one time or another. I feel for Brad. Ooh, that's a tough situation. So I sell heavy construction equipment to people and companies that are anything but trustworthy. Does it even make sense for me to be trustworthy?
I'm going to answer this in a very simple fashion, and that is absolutely. It's funny. Even if your customer is not trustworthy, they want you to be trustworthy. I mean, it is an expectation of something that we have of others, and it's incredibly vital in differentiating you from your competition.
I think that's so spot on. A line that I love to use: when you sell with integrity, you will get customers who have integrity. And I know there are different boundaries and different parameters in different industries. I totally get that. I've sold in many, many industries and many, many countries around the world. But here's what I found. Just like you said, you got to stick to your basic. You have to be seen as the trustworthy person. When I hear people sit here and say, all my customers are losers, I say, you know what? Probably the sales approach you're using is, I hate to say it, but being a loser too. Sell with integrity, and you will get customers who have integrity. Brad, they're out there in your industry. They're out there. You're just not finding them.
I agree with that. It's also, this sort of reminds me of years ago. I went when I was a banker, and we went to go see this Bank of the Future in Boston. And the gentleman who had been the consultant on it said, "Did you know the number one reason people don't change financial institutions?" And of course, we all said no. And he said the number one reason people don't change financial institutions is that they assume the experience will be just as bad somewhere else. Now, everybody I was with saw that as a negative. I saw it as a positive because I thought, wow, if the bar is that low, how easy is it going to be to grow our financial institution? And I think it's the same for you, Brad. You may look at it as a glass half empty, that your industry just isn't ripe with trust. But if you are the one who is trustworthy, if you are the one who is demonstrating trust, look at what a differentiator you have in the marketplace and what a better experience you are providing for your customers.
I love what you just said, and it reminds me of a line. A 2-watt light bulb looks pretty bright in a dark room. Right?
That's right. That's right. It
I,
also reminds me of another thing about this. Brad, I don't know how large the industry is that you work for, or how large the industries are that you have to compete against. But I just highlighted a company in my new book that is a small company in California competing against not only larger companies, but larger companies that were basically eating the industry. They were acquiring everybody, and these peers that he had been in business with for a long time were just selling out like crazy, and he was getting his lunch eaten. So he went to customers to say, what do you need? What would be important to you? And the biggest complaint the customers had was that the bids were never accurate. They would bid one price and the bill would come back and it would be another price, and the jobs weren't done on time. So he established a guarantee with his company that the bid would always be accurate, and the job would always be done on time, or they would owe that customer $2,000. And that message of trust, that conveying, we promise, and then standing by that, they have now, they're still in business, still competing, and the company has grown over the last 5 years while their peers have had to sell out. So trust is really powerful.
That's a great example, because what they did was they created their own ICP. We've talked about this before, your ideal customer profile. And they've said, this is who we want our ideal customer to be. This is the behavior we want them to model. So that's what we're going to do. And I think, Brad, this is what you have to do. You have to maybe say, I'm not going to sit here and sell to everybody in the industry. There's going to be the ideal customer profile, those who do value trust, those who do. And you begin playing by those rules. And you know what? You're going to see customers coming into that set of rules that you've put together, because people will pay for trust if they can see it. Your banking example is so spot on. We see that in other industries. We see that in a lot of other industries where people say, well, why should I switch? The cellular telephone industry. People say, why should I switch? Because everyone is just as bad, or whether it be cable or whatever it might be. And we have to say, how do we distinguish ourselves? So, Brad, I want you to stand tall and be that trustworthy person. So, hey, with that, why don't we jump into the topic? How important is trust to closing a sale? I think we've kind of answered that already, but let's unpack it a whole lot more.
Yeah, I think it's not only important to closing a sale, but it's more important in establishing a relationship. I could argue the fact that I could get you to buy something without creating trust. But if I want to have you continue to buy things, if I want you to refer relationships with me, trust is the very foundation of it. And I would argue that in today's marketplace, it is more important than it's ever been. And I'll talk about that in a moment. So, Mark, what do you say?
I'm going to counter you on that a little bit. I think you can close a sale, but not at full price.
That's true. Good.
Okay. Because if you stop and think about this, trust is really the counter to the price discount. If I don't trust you, I may buy from you, but I'm going to want a pretty steep discount. If I trust you and I trust the value proposition that you've shared with me, and we've created a level of trust, I'll be far more likely to pay full price. So I think creating trust early in the sale or early in the process sets us up to be able to close at full price. And the other piece is this, and you were touching on it. The only good sale is the one that leads to the next sale. Yeah,
that's right.
Right? I mean,
you've done all the hard work. Don't you want to sell more to that person?
Exactly. I mean, when I see people knocking their socks off to try to close one sale, and then they got to go all the way back and start all over again, I go, hold it, something's wrong. Because you did not create that level of trust, that level of relationship, that level of confidence. There's so many different factors that come into play to be able to say, this customer is going to be worth X more business from me, either from more business from them or from referrals or something of that manner.
Yeah, we have a great question here from John. I love it when our viewers tap in with questions, and I want to thank Lauren for being here as well. Thank you, Lauren. But John says more people are WFH in this pandemic and online. how would you suggest conveying the image of trust or trusted advisor in a digital world, specifically around your website messaging?
I'll tell you what, trust is more important because along with trust comes authenticity. In this WFH, work from home. Remember, WFH is also BFH, buying from home.
Mhm.
And it really means you have to be more authentic and more real. And I think one of the ways that you demonstrate this is you understand and accept people from wherever they're at, Don't worry about what their background is. Don't worry. I was talking to a lady the other day, and incredibly brilliant individual having a great conversation. And suddenly out of nowhere, her 3-year-old jumps up on her lap, and it was cool. I said, "Hey, hold it. What's your son's name?" And I wanted to talk to his son, and so we demonstrate trust by accepting people for who they are.
Oh, I think that's great. John, I think there are a couple of things when it really comes to especially to your website image. Is number one, you have to ask yourself, does your website speak to your customer? Your website should not be about you. It needs to be about the problems that your customer needs to see themselves in your website. When they come to what you're saying you do and what you're saying you solve, they need to relate to that. I think another thing that's really important, and Mark really alluded to this, is behind that, they need to get to know you. So shooting video, I think in today's world is a great way to convey trust, because when I shoot video, people get to know me. They get to see that kind of what I would be like if you would interact with me. The other thing I think when it comes to your website is if people contact you on the website, what is the speed at which you are responding and the accuracy to which you are responding? Meaning that, like, I got an inquiry the other day and I wasn't in the office. Somebody inquired about wanting to talk to me about a speaking engagement in August. And I saw it on my phone. I was at the grocery store and I just clicked back right away. I said, "I apologize. I'm out of the office right now. Thank you so much for responding. I'll be home within the hour and we'll respond to the message then." I think that builds trust because I'm responsive and I'm there and I'm letting them know what the next step is. And so I think answering emails quickly, I think answering messages quickly, using a lot of video, but most importantly, making sure that your messaging conveys that you understand their problems. Again, people will do business with you because you understand them, not because they understand you.
The magic word that you said was grocery store. Yeah, here's why. You were authentic.
Yes.
It wasn't an autoresponder. It wasn't this,
Right.
"I'm out of the office. We value your business. We put garbage. You were authentic. You were sending a message back to them, probably because I know how you use your phone, probably with a few typos in there too.
Oh, a ton. I had tons of typos.
Yeah. So, but see, it's authentic. And I have a feeling when you connected with that person, the conversation automatically was authentic. Now, here's another piece in terms of authenticity. Make sure that when you have your website, that it's your images. It's not these stock photos. It's not these stupid, cheesy things that somebody pulled off the internet. And your website is fresh and current. If you stop and think about this, it has been a blur the last 14, 15 months. We've gone from pre-pandemic to deep into the pandemic and lockdown. And now we're seeing, shades of growth all over the place, all in the course of about 15 months. So you have to be fresh. You have to be current. But these are all some of the ways that you really can be seen as trustworthy.
Yeah, I'm gonna add to that too, because you bring up such a great point. Is your testimonials need to be authentic. If you can provide pictures with those testimonials, names and position and company with those testimonials, nothing is worse, I think, than when I see testimonials and it says, a client in Bangkok or Sam from New York. It just doesn't ring true. Sam could be your brother-in-law. So making sure that the social proof that you're using, and if you can use video social proof, that's even better.
Yeah. What's interesting is we're talking about these little things behind the scenes. But you think about
Mhm.
this. Trust doesn't just appear when you're face to face with somebody. Trust is 24/7. And I've always been amazed at how I notice how people will handle a customer one way. Oh, we're so trustworthy. And then they'll turn around and just rip on somebody behind the scenes. And I go, hold it, hold it. If I'm a trustworthy person, I'm trustworthy in every situation, regardless of the situation. And I think what's interesting is customers pick up on that.
Mhm.
Customers see through that. And I think what the pandemic has taught us and has really shown us is people want to see authenticity, they want to see transparency. And they want to see, does this person I'm working with, do they have values and morals that really kind of emulate mine? We're seeing this a lot. We're seeing a lot of this in corporate America today, where employees are mandating that their companies really reflect their values. And I think this is the same thing with customers. They're looking for salespeople. And it's amazing how much more comfortable we are when we have this trust-centered bond that we can all respect one another.
Yeah, the thing I think about, another way that you can convey trust in a digital world is to show up consistently. I mean, one reason Mark and I wanted to come every Saturday morning is because it becomes the point that you can count on this podcast. You can count on it to be on Saturday. You can count on us to have a prepared show every Saturday discussing a topic that, would be of value to you. And consistency breeds trust. Predictability breeds trust. Showing up breeds trust. So think about the posts and things that you put on social media. Are you there every week? If people comment on your post, do you comment back? Do they see you? Are you visible? Can they rely on you? Can they count on you? All of those little things, as Mark said, add up and create this foundation of trust.
You know what it makes it feel like? Trust is boring. But you know what? It's okay, because that's the consistency. That is the consistency. And you are spot on. People want to do business. People want to work with people who they know are going to be there and are going to be genuine. And they don't want this fluff thrown at them. Especially think about this for a moment. If I'm a salesperson and I've done this wonderful job of trying to get you to buy from me, and I get right down to the close, and then I do a 180 and I suddenly become a different person. Everything I've done up to that point is gone. It's just gone. You see, trust is about being boring and being consistent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly. But a strong return on investment for it. The last thing I want to say before I know we jump onto the book is the fact that trust has so much more value in today's marketplace. I mean, we are living in a time where we're skeptical about everything. We don't trust corporations. We don't trust the economy. We sure as heck do not trust our politicians. We don't trust anything that we hear on the news. So when something becomes scarce in society, it increases in value. So kind of going back to Brad and our question, and is that the fact that if you can convey trust, if you take trust seriously as something you need to build, you're truly differentiating yourself in the marketplace. You're doing something that probably a lot of your competitors are not mindfully thinking about.
And I'm going to drop the mic with this comment before we go into the book. Trust is the currency of business.
Oh, that's powerful. Drop the mic.
Right?
Yeah.
Drop the mic on that one. And with that, hey, let's go into the book that we have, Trusted Leader. Just came out. Hey, you got your copy too.
I did.
What page are you on as you're reading it? Because we both just got our copy. It just literally came out 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I am on chapter 4, The Brain Trust.
There you go. Great. Hey, David Horsager wrote this book, and I'll tell you what, it is book. What I love about it,
David.
You got it signed by him?
I got a signed copy.
Well, mine is from Amazon. Man, I'm calling him out on this one. But hey, my review is up on Amazon. So
all right, I got to do that today.
Okay. I'm sorry. Hey, 8 pillars in here. There's some great. He sets up a great story at the beginning, And then he walks through 8 pillars. And I'll tell you what, this is a book that you want to dig into. I've been looking forward to it for a long time, and it's full of just great content. I don't know, what have you found so far?
Well, the thing that I loved is that it did start out basically with a fable and a story. So it makes it, you're about to learn something very powerful, but you're going to learn it in an interesting, intriguing way. But I think the thing about, and the reason I put David's name up there is you can go to davidhorsager.com. You can go to thetrustedleader.com. You can just Google trust David Horsager, and you're going to find volumes of information. David does a powerful research report called the Trust Edge. And if you really want to know and understand how to not only understand the impact of trust, but how to apply it, which was another thing I really liked in this book, is what David is also telling you is trust is something that needs to consistently be worked on. We kind of think we're either trustworthy or we're not, right? But it isn't that simple. It's more complex than that. I mean, trust is something I need to continue to nurture and continue to build on. And Mark, I want to say basically for our audience today, the reason we wanted to highlight this is because of all the other things Mark and I talk about. And we talk a lot about how to get in the door, how to talk to the C-suite, how to follow up, how to close the deal. All of that is icing on the cake to trust. If you've built trust first, all the rest of that is going to be so much easier. So this piece is really foundational.
Yeah. Hey, great. And with that, we got to jump into the lightning round. Quick ways to demonstrate and create trust with customers. Well, I'll repeat that one more time so you can get ready. Get your hand on the buzzer. Quick ways to demonstrate and create trust with customers. Go.
Okay, I love this because we've been talking about trust. Now we're going to tell you how to do it. I think number one is create an incredible experience from start to finish. Make sure it's just an amazing experience.
Never repeat any proprietary information with a name associated to anybody. If you're with a customer and you sit there and, oh, this is what this customer is doing, you will never, ever create trust.
Yeah. Respond. Be responsive. If they need something, respond as fast as you possibly can.
Be authentic and be real. If you don't have an answer, just say it up front. I don't have an answer for it, but I'll get you an answer.
Yeah, that was, you took the words right out of my mouth. Show up. You need to be visible, and you need to show up with them.
Be personable in who you are, and be personable in accepting and understanding the other person.
I would say that you need to proactively understand their needs. You need to empathize with them and give them the message that you understand them.
Be trustworthy with every person you come in contact with, not just your customers.
Be transparent. Be very open and very honest. About things. If they're asking you for something you're not good at, admit that you're not good at it, and refer them to someone else.
Accept the other person's value of time. If they don't have time to meet, you have time to meet, whatever it might be, but understand time. Time and trust are really two items that go together quite well. You share one more, I'll share one more, we'll close it down.
All right. Under promise and over deliver. If you can beat deadlines, if you can put a cherry on top of the service that you are providing, but over deliver under promise.
Be genuine. Don't be the fake person. Be real in who you are. People want to see you as you are. Hey, with that, let's go ahead and close it down. We want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, rate, subscribe, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you $1, consider telling a friend about our show. It's how we grow to help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. Thanks for another great show. And we will see you right here next week for another episode, another hot topic, and another round of Sales Logic. Bye.